we will be talking about the protein dilemma. So recently we are seeing the protein powders, protein shakes, proteins everywhere. So, it forms a confusion. Also, in the vegan community, we see they say protein is a form of colonialism.
There is a huge debate on protein within the vegan and carnivore communities. Some say protein is bad and it causes inflammation, kidney problems, etc. Some link it to colonialism, masculinity, propaganda, while others say protein is essential and vegan is low testosterone, etc. I believe a balanced diet and sustainable diet is much better than choosing fats. It is totally subjective on whether protein must be high or low. Don't be anxious, eat carbs moderately, more proteins and vitamins, and focus on your own needs. I follow a flexitarian diet.
So, among the vegan community, we see a huge stigmatization in proteins, protein diets, and a lot they say protein comes from amino acids. Body needs amino acids and not protein. And among the animal-based community, we see a more emphasis toward protein-based foods. Totally talking off. So my thoughts on these things are that there should not be a war on protein versus carbs. I believe that a high protein diet is beneficial. I more agree here with the animal based side because protein is essential. We need complete proteins. Also, not everyone can be vegan. So that is perfectly okay.
Because of woke and toxic vegans, the reputation of veganism is ruined.
Humans should be prioritized over animals and plants. This is what I without abusing each other.
I follow a largely plant-based diet with little amount of animal protein.
And also, I don't believe protein is the only thing that should be consumed. For everyone, that much amount of protein is not required. Yes, our body mainly needs amino acids, but we also know that we only focus on that. There is the high carbs and high fat consumption, which can lead to other problems, the oxalates. That's why in today's sedentary lifestyle, there is some amount of shortcut which should be required, and that's why a high protein diet is emphasized. Again, I'm not a medical expert, so yes, these are my just personal views. Have a balanced diet. You should eat carbs also, you should eat proteins also. Adapt to your lifestyle. As of me, I consume carbs and sugar. Like now, I'm consuming this, so I believe that balance is needed for my technical lifestyle, educational life. I do need a protein diet because of sedentariness and also some sugar is required for energy. Now we'll be talking about the gay adopted people thing. Let's look. So here we see that two gay men adopted a baby named Preston Davy. And here, asked for the baby to be fostered, and his adoptive father abused him until he died. So, a post mortem examination identified more than 30 external bruises, as well as internal bruising to his mouth and throat, internal brushing to his anus, and so many things. Even semen was found in his lungs. It was so horrible to see that. And this is one of the guy was this James Varley. His penis stuck in his throat to an upper airways obstructor, and his partner, John Mangovan, physically also sexually abused the child. And the baby was abused for months and suffered from insides, a perforated bowel and white mass. And the couple pretended the baby had drowned in a and some nursing adoptions by gay couples should be banned. Here also we see a lot of those things. Now I don't believe every single gay couple who adopts children is like that. But I agree that there is going to be some dilemma of not having a mother. Adoption is different than surrogacy. I'm against surrogacy. But I'm kind of for adoption because there are a lot of adopted kids which, are facing problems. And also straight couples do those things. But with gay couples, there is that unnatural union. I don't believe it should be banned, but I believe that background checking should be done. I also believe, on the other hand, that this thing should not be normalized and also, it's true that gay marriage caused this thing. I don't believe that there is illegal gay marriage ideally should be legal, but in America, no, that's too late. I do believe everyone has a choice, but there are going to be consequences, and children are going to suffer. So, strict punishment like death penalty and all should be. Also, in one girl, French girl, she was kind of raped at Croatian man, she thankfully escaped. And when she told that Africans and migrants are the ones who caused the majority of those things, he was about to be arrested for a hate speech. Again, it's regulated, like it's lifted up, but soon that can happen. So I think freedom of speech is dead in Europe. It's ruined. And what she said was kind of correct. And yesteryear book controversy has come. So we'll be talking about that. Next is the Yesteryear book, a satirical thriller and a novel about Tradwives, written by Caro Claire Burke. So Anne Hathaway recently promoted that book, and people are reacting negatively and positively based on their views. So we can see that the novel follows Natalie Heller Mills, an influencer, successful traditional media influencer who runs a lucrative tradwife brand out of her picturesque Idaho ranch, promoting traditional gender roles, homeschooling, and deeply religious lifestyle to 8 million followers. One day, she seemingly wakes up in the year 1855, completely stripped of modern appliances, running water, electricity, and her real life, forced to actually live the rough, gritty pioneer life she had been aestheticizing and selling to the public. The narrative shifts between her idyllic, carefully managed online past and her dark reality waiting. And Annie Hathaway is going to star in that adaptation. So many conservative influencers have criticizing it because the book acts as a Hollywood plot to demonize Christian women, and the author's understanding of conservative Christian theology is inaccurate or superficial. It weaponizes progressivism to turn a peaceful lifestyle choice into a horror story. So, my thoughts on this is that I don't believe that the movie is promoting a wrong message. If it mentions that all conservative Christian women are like that, which is partially true, that's wrong because it is confusing the tradwiveism with Christianity. But it is less, these people are less to be blamed, and rather the conservative Christians are to be blamed more because they have done those things. They have normalized those things. They have conflicted homemaker ideas like this and that and all.
I don't think that Burke understands the nuances and the reality of Christianity. And that to me is why this book wasn't as effective, because her beliefs about what conservatives believe, what Republicans believe, what Christians believe are also hyperbole and incorrect. If she had a real understanding of the theology and the belief, then I think she actually would have been able to write a better, more resonant and more relatable book. But, this is catnip for people who love The Handmaid's Tale. Like, this is catnip for progressives. It confirms all of their assumptions that everyone who takes the Bible seriously is basically, the same as a radical Muslim.
Which is not true. You can do a corporate job as I'm studying for my college exams or preparing for placement drives. You can be a businesswoman, you can be a CEO, and still you can be a good godly woman. And what this movie says, like this Tradwife thing, which they so very glamorously, that this is the best, this is for all women. It may be for some women, but the way this is portrayed is that because the women, these American tribal women who work others, are very privileged. They have the choice to. In countries like Pakistan, Somalia, they are not privileged. They have to do that compulsory. So, what is this message promoting? That this lifestyle is toxic. They are promoting toxicity, not in and of itself. If they are doing that, then that's wrong. But a lot of the things which these people promote is wrong. So I kind of support that movie. And remember, in fiction, there are going to be some flaws going to happen. So Christians don't have to make a fuss on that. Next is the Turning Point USA, Erika Kirk. Erika Kirk, was a recent turning point. USA Women's Leadership Summit. A lot of things spoke was nice, but I didn't find this year's interesting. I found the 2023 and the 2024 one. 2024 one was the best ever. This year without Charlie, it was really, kind of sad. Some people questioned her about Candace Owens and so many other things. So I think that questioning Erika Cook itself is not wrong. Mocking in the middle of an event is kind of wrong. And false assumptions of Erika should not, like by Candace and all. But some things which Candace says is also right. And the thing is that there is freedom of speech, and there are a lot of allegations coming against that organization. And also, when people like Alex are blocking others and mocking others and
It
all
is
that
so
thing is coming,
fleeting.
so I think what they're doing is wrong. And what this girl questioned was right.
Important to remember that happiness comes and goes, and I pray that you find it.
But there should have been a way to do so. Also, we see a rise of extremism in people who are Christians and Muslims. There is a huge question coming on whether Christian women, should go to college or not. Such trivial questions in the era of Christian persecution. New World Order, basically, Agenda 2030 is the New World Order. So some things of those are right, like Americans is hormone dominance will go, and a lot of other benefits, social welfares will happen, sustainability goals. But there is a goal to control the masses, which I think is wrong. No one should be forced to do. There is got Antichrist and all coming, one world government, one world religion, which I think is wrong. Because that will be a tool to control the masses.
Agenda 2030 is coming in a way you cannot imagine, and we should be very, very careful with the news. And there is a rise of satanism and all. We see how it's affecting our media and our homes and so many things like crops and music and our education and human rights misuse also.
So here are saying young single women typically have very little exposure to motherhood, and that's the huge part of why colleges aren't pursuing marriage and people like that. And this is a big reason why I don't want my daughters going to college, because it denies a family life, and there are so many other things. So I believe in these things that there's nothing wrong with a woman going to college. Not every woman is called to do that. And you're saying we have normalized every path of life. Like every path should be good. But I definitely agree the motherhood should not be demonized and so many things. And I believe that you are not sinning if you are not pursuing marriage or motherhood. And I believe that unique women's unique qualities also should, you know, embraced. Here you can see women shouldn't do public gyms, college education, and all, but wife does. That's okay.
We can also see hypocrisy on how their own wives and all do those things, yet women should not be allowed to do.
That it's not wrong an Islamic and Christian women to pursue education. Here they're saying, don't empower yourself, don't, there should be women scholars, women should not travel. This is really wrong. No religion mentions that. It mentions the importance of homemaker and prioritize. But not all women can. And that's perfectly okay if women do that. This is basically a form of religion used to control masses and manipulating, ruining women's rights, which I think is.
Feminism is rooted in Satanism, in Luciferianism, and why the sacrament of feminism is abortion. Why the sacrament of feminism is child sacrifice, witchcraft, spilling the blood of an innocent in order for you to have better life. This was done all throughout history. So you think it's just the African tribes, the African voodoo tribes in the middle of nowhere that practice animal sacrifice and child sacrifice? No, it is happening in the Christian West. While pastors don't want to get involved because abortion is a problem, not a spiritual one. You're telling me that tearing apart babies in the womb, tearing the family structure, dividing man from woman, actually putting the woman, no, that is spiritual. Feminism actually has satanic roots. The first wave feminists, what most people won't tell you, what the history books that are all critiqued by feminists, they're not going to tell you that women were put on the witch trials because they were killing children. They were midwives that were bringing abortions. They're not going to tell you that that is why the church was burning women at the stake because they were torturing and murdering children in the womb. No.
I definitely believe a lot of things in the feminism rooted in the crooked and there is witchcraft involved. A lot of Buddhism, New Age, feminism is linked to that. This is one of my hot takes that New Age is linked to Buddhism. You can see a lot of those things coming. Some things of those are good, but a lot of those things are not, in line with Christianity and the Buddhism and all those things, like the extreme denial of reality and resisting God is there in that. So we can see a lot of those things linked. So I believe it's kind of true. However, I believe that um, you should not be blaming and you should also look why these things started happening in the first place, why feminism came, why these things came. It is because of abusive leaders, abusive Christian pastors who burn women, and I believe punishment should have been given to women who are performing child sacrifices and all. But just because their religion is different and all that should not have been happening. And we should be having taking accountability Christians from their side also.
And also this Nolan Cetra's reel on saying feminism is rooted in the occult and defending the witch burners. So let me tell you that you are doing actually the most feminist job ever of women pastoring, which is not biblical. There you can twist. Feminism for me but not for thee. This is the doctrine.
Another of my hot take is that Maharashtra is the best place in India. There's a lot of advancement, most developed state with a lot of diversity in that. Third hot take of mine is protein is not sufficient. Fourth hot take is that books which have a huge face in the photo should be banned. This may be a little controversial, but I hate seeing my pic or anyone's pic hugely on that page. If it's of a celebrity biography and all, that is exception, but I don't like that also. The only exception allowed is of my podcast page, nothing else. Please. Another tip is hot take is JEE need is not the ultimate success thing. It's actually the beginning. And if even if you do diploma, that's okay. Coming in direct second year, which many of us do. And the ultimate goal is having a good placement. Even if you're from tier 2, tier 3 college, that's the
Satanism and all, we see how it's affecting our media and our homes.
so recently the grooming gang inquiry report came and over 250,000 girls were abused. So it is really worse as we thought. And this was sent by MP Rupert Lowe. And we have to protect, British daughters and we should spread awareness. Like I cannot do it now physically as I'm in India, but we can spread the voices and the testimonies and we have to protect the Western civilization itself. Mass deportation should be done, proper policies should be given. Recent New York Times has done such a humiliating post saying that my father had breasts once and he was a woman once and he can wear makeup and all that, those things. Like on Father's Day, it was highlighted, and it's so bad. Men are demonized, masculinity is demonized. And this is like, a fall of the West. Firstly, they normalized, feminine men. Now, some extent that is understandable. But, that if we look at the bigger picture, we see how much the media is demonizing masculinity. And, a man cannot become a woman. We need fathers. Yes, fathers will be, but ensure discipline. They are given a task by God to lead the house. So you should not abandon role. Fathers play an important role in a child's life, just like a mother. And doing this post is actually, demonizing them so badly. Also, June is Men's Mental Health Month. So shameful. Only women can be mothers. Weird. Now, next is that a girl dad takes his daughters to a restroom. Some are saying this is woke indoctrination, and some are saying that's no. Now, as for me, I think, my dad, as a girl dad, he will probably, prefer us to do our business in the ladies' restroom rather than the gents' restroom, because the difference is that restroom is much safer naturally. Even little boys are taken by their mothers, and it's, all facilities are there, and in men's there are fewer facilities. Openly urination is done, and also that, he was not indoctrinating, he was not entering as a woman, he was waiting outside the cubicle. He was considering the safety of his daughters first. Little daughters should not be sent off alone in such sensitive place. So Texas is currently making a law starting from 2030 that Bible reading should be made mandatory in schools for all students. Now, I have mixed thoughts on it. Firstly, it's true that America was built by Christianity for Christians, firstly, for Christian values, and that's perfectly true. I believe history should be taught. Some amount of, Bible knowledge should be given, which values were given, and where it's rooted at. But I also believe that, a separate class for that should not be there. And non Christian students should not be forced to attend those classes. Now, in old times, those things used to be there, but in those days, almost everyone was Christian or Jewish. Now, it's not the case. And, public schools are going to be taught. So, it's going to be a liberal governor there, like Puerto Rico. How scripture will be twisted for their own agenda. Even for conservatives, it's the same. So, I don't believe school should be the best place to teach religious doctrination, because we don't know how it's going to be taught. And school is for students to unite, regardless of religion or culture. Any religion. I'm saying that yes, interfaith dialogue should be there, certain religious sessions should be there, prayer should be there. In a Christian school or for Christian students, sessions, okay, that's fine. I myself had catechism classes. We were all students of all religions were, taught Christian prayers, Christian values were given, but that's different than having a separate Bible reading class. Also, so many people are doing cringe evangelization reels and doing any kind of prophecy that this is the mark of the beast and this is that and all. So, I'm telling y'all to beware of these trends. We have to be the salt of the world, yes. We have to guide the lost, yes. But there is a way to do, not by this crazy, weird stuff, because it is ruining the reputation of us. Also, India's population is hitting an all time low. There are some communities whose population is increasing, and educated communities like Christians, Parsis are reduced their population. So, if you look at a short time, yes, there is overpopulation crisis. So that will be good for a short period of time, but in a long period of time, communities will extend. So I believe that 1 to 2 children should be done by most of us. And also with regards to Cocktail 2 movie, which I watched yesterday, it was a really good movie. Like not much good as of the season 1, but we saw how much betrayal and situationships destroys a person. We see it also from the men's point of view that they are also human and their feelings matter too. And Shahid Kapoor has nailed it excellently. While I did not like Kriti Sanan's outfits that much, they were vulgar. Rashmika also acted very bubbly. It was very spicy, and I do recommend to watch the movie. But Cocktail 1 is Cocktail 1. Also, Shraddha Kapoor's acting in her new movie was extremely wonderful and unbreakable. Wow, get talented to stand up against the elites, and creating your own space requires courage. Guys, ISKCON is providing sattvic meals, pure vegetarian, no onion, no garlic meals to students across West Bengal. And this is causing a huge debate because Bengal is a predominantly non vegetarian state where almost everybody is a non vegetarian. Fish and meat are served to goddesses. there it's providing a vegetarian meal. And many Jains and vegetarians are saying that you should provide midday meals or non-veg food at home. School is not the place to do so, and it's require a more proper preservation facilities and requires more time to cook. So my thoughts on this is that I believe eggs are currently the most nutritious meal. It has complete set of proteins. I agree that there may be ethical implications and better policies should be done. But every time vegans, you cannot impose veganism on this state. And also, veganism in every person in India is impractical because of the economic shortages, and also there is a lot of nutritional gap. So rather than focusing on fictional things, yes, you should advocate for sustainability, but more should be focused on children's nutrition, and children must be put first. And I believe that also that we should not be forcing ISKCON to serve non-vegetarian food as it stands up against their values. However, at the same time, you should not impose a ban on people who serve eggs or other non-vegetarian delicacies to students. So I believe that ISKCON is doing a good job by feeding proper nutritious meals to students. But I believe that reusable, proper plates must be given rather than disposable plates. And also demonization of non-vegetarian food, like banning and all, should not be there. And for those who are saying they should be provided at home, midday is provided to those students whose parents cannot afford that food. So we have the right to criticize that food system. Now I'll discuss about another topic which is not related to this. It's about my exam routine. It's really normal exam routine. I study daily. I, have PDFs printed, and I also have my notes in here, and I study here in my mother's clinic for 2 to 3 hours. Then at home I study. I sleep till 3 p.m., 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. And that's really difficult to manage all of those things. I consume a lot of sugary drinks and junk food that time. But I also, balance myself. I exercise. I take breaks sometimes. It's basically a 2 to 3 day gap happening after each exam. So I study and all. There were placement drives and so many other important things also happening. So I try to manage. The exam level is kind of moderate. It's 2 hour exam, 10 to 12 a.m. this time, and one paper on 5th July, the final one, for 3 hours till 1 p.m. And there is, a lot of things I have to. That's why I'm not doing content. And yes, best of luck for the students who are pursuing the exams. Again, with the Congress rally, we see that students were denied, they will reach late and NEET examinations were denied. Students should prioritize rallies and all should not be there during that time. And I think India is being ruled by elites and all, and we should be raising a voice against that. It's happening in every country. The Israel model is working, which should not happen. So, two movies are in the controversy pool. First is the Toxic movie, and the promotion was extremely vulgar. Why you have to show vulgarity every time? And South is again leading into Bollywood, and the uniqueness of the South culture is being ruined. I'm not saying there should not be adult scenes at all, but between elegance or and insanity, incel behavior. And also with regards to the other movie, they are, unstable story, improper storytelling is happening. Like they start a fight and in the end realize that, there's nothing to be fighting for. What nonsense is being promoted? And the fictional things of the wire spy universe, like wearing extremely, fashionable clothes as spies and all. Like the same thing is being repeated. And I'm sick of, today's Bollywood movies because of that. That's why I generally prefer listening to old movies and songs. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. Do share your thoughts. Bye.